Well, you also specialize in retirement planning.
Mm-hmm.
And what are some of the things that our listeners can do today to prepare for retirement, even though they're probably terrified to even look at where they're at?
Retirement planning, it's always a balance between living in the moment and spending stuff on today and also saving for the future. And so, people really, they have two questions. The question is, when can I retire? And what do I have to save in order to maintain my standard of living in retirement? And the answer to that question is that when you have enough income from different sources, that could be Social Security, could be your investments, could be a pension, could be real estate rental properties. If once you have enough income from these different sources to fulfill your standard of living in retirement, that's when you can retire. So the question is, well, how do I know? Well, the next thing you have to do is actually have to figure out your retirement gap. So what is the retirement gap? The retirement gap is the difference between what you have right now in savings and different income sources to what you're going to need in the future. And the way that you figure out that retirement gap is that, again, you gather all your investment statements, you figure out your estimates for Social Security, for your pensions, all these different income sources. You plug it into a calculator, and it's going to tell you, hey, Todd, you need to save X amount of dollars per month to get to the certain level. And so that's really the process. I don't care if you're a millionaire or you're just getting started. You have to understand what you need to be putting away today in order to reach those goals in retirement.
It's fascinating information, but it's not just a calculator. I'm sure you have these high-tech spreadsheets.
And the thing is that you can do a Google search for retirement calculators. You can go on finra.org. There's a bunch of, just Google financial calculators, retirement calculators, and you can do it. And I've been to a bunch of them. There's a difference between doing that and also having the financial planning software that we have that goes into a lot more detail. But at least that stuff on Google will help you, kind of get in the ballpark.
Perfect. So with a retirement, people at all ages need to review their retirement.
Absolutely.
What are some roadblocks that you're seeing that people are having to come in to talk?
Yeah, I mean, depends on kind of where you are in life. In D.C., it's expensive to live here. And so you may have some people who, maybe have lower paying jobs and they don't want to put away $25 or $50 a pay to retire. So there may be a thing where I can't afford it. I think my biggest competition to actually meet with somebody is competing with your life. If you've got kids, you're a chauffeur, you're taking them to your practice, you have all these different events, and to carve out an hour to meet with an advisor is tough sometimes just because with scheduling. But I think the biggest mistake people make when it comes down to the retirement is just not making it a priority. It's always something that people just kind of push off. They just say, I'll put in $100 a month in my 401k and think you're done. That's not the way to do it.
So can you share with our listeners a story of how someone came to you and you were able to make a difference?
Yeah, I mean, I had a client, I did a financial plan. He was actually a federal employee, and he wanted to retire in 10 years. And so, again, going through that financial planning process, especially with federal employees, their benefits, are great. They have all sorts of insurance. They have the TSP, but they also have their pensions, which can also be pretty complicated. So one of the things that we did for the client was I have financial planning software specifically for federal employees that actually help you calculate your pension options. And that's something that you definitely need to talk to an advisor about because it's very hard to do it on your own. So as a result of that, we were able to say, hey, we need to save this much. We were able to retire at this date. And it was a success story.